we have this conversation all the time in private, so why not have it publicly? Richie, let's talk about, earlier you mentioned that it's more palatable for whites when someone is of a mixed race than just flat out being black. And representation, that means that representation does matter. If they are saying it's more palatable for them, well, why does everything have to be palatable for them?
Well, the reality is that typically the spaces that we're speaking about are controlled by people who are white, to be honest with you. And so as a result, we end up as Black people, or even as mixed people, having to operate within those spaces under the white gaze. So what really matters a lot of times, at least outwardly, is how we as Black people present, or as a mixed person present. What do we look like? Because at the end of the day, if I see Des winning an award, so let's speak those into existence, in my mind, without fully knowing who she was, I'm gonna say, that Black, yo, my sister won. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the reality of it, right? So that's why I answered the question in that way.
But then there's you, without the beard, Richie, we might not know. we might not know to be like, yes, my brother, go. So how does that work? Like, I'm always intrigued by the movie Imitation of Life, and then we have Rachel Dolezal, who was just decided to identify as Black. Can I identify as white?
Again, I think
I'm putting it on you, Richie. I'm putting it on you.
I think it depends. This is honestly how I view life at this point as a Black man. Okay. What does the white police officer see if they pull me over? Period. That's how I think. And I know that in reality, I should not live that way, but that is my reality as a Black man. Okay, so I feel like that's the reality that we have to face, is how do we present? So if you are a mixed person and you present as brown, Black, then that is exactly how the world is going to see you. And so, to be quite honest with you, again, this is why I'm going to celebrate anybody who is in these spaces that are typically controlled by white people. I'm going to celebrate any minority winning, because that's ultimately what you are, is still a minority in that space.
Right. Mackenzie, you identify as biracial, right?
I identify as a Black woman, but I definitely am not ignorant to the fact that I am definitely biracial. And, you know, my mother is white, so I can't just completely denounce that. That's something that's very, you know, that's my mom, and I love my mom. So it's like, but when I go out into spaces and I have auditions for films or television series, I've never auditioned for a Caucasian role. I always audition for African American or mixed ethnicity roles. And I could never call up my agent and be like, hey, there's this Caucasian role and I'd really like to audition for it. And just the fact that I cannot do that has already programmed in my mind from young that, okay, you're not white. You are definitely not white. So then you are biracial, you are Black, but you are definitely not white.
You are anything but white, sis.
Right.
Is that what they tell you?